welcome back to this week's Self-Love Masterclass. My name's Renee Mullings-Lewis. I'm a self-love teacher, a coach, and an energy healer. I create these YouTube videos as well as coaching programs and Instagram posts to help you have the most divine and juicy relationship with yourself. Why? Because I truly believe that self-love is the foundation upon which we create and manifest everything and anything that we want in our lives. Thank you for joining me back here if you guys follow me regularly, and for those of you that are joining me for the first time, well, welcome. So I got a video request from someone, and the question was super simple. It was, how do you live a life without regrets? Now, I don't know what the stats are these days on how many people actually go to their deathbeds with regrets, but it's pretty high. It's actually one of the things that people really fear. People want to know that when they get to the end of their life, they can say, I lived. So how do we do that? Well, I gotta be honest with you. I'm actually one of those people that don't have any regrets. And it's not because my life is perfect. I'm telling you right now that I have gone through some of the most grueling and scary things. I'm gonna share with you what has helped me along the way. And I hope that this will help you all as well, and anyone that you share this video with. For me, the biggest thing that has helped me is my philosophy and my outlook on life. And what I mean by that specifically is, like, if you have this philosophy or this idea that you can make mistakes in your life, then every time you do something that doesn't turn out the way that you wanted it to or the way that you expected it to, or maybe looking back you felt like you could have made a quote-unquote better decision, you'll be taunted with regrets. You'll be constantly filled with regrets because you think everything is a mistake. My personal philosophy is that I don't believe in mistakes. I don't believe that you can screw up your life. I believe that sometimes crappy things happen, but I actually believe that these crappy things always bring us to the next best thing. Like, if I look at my life and I think about some of the awful things that have happened, or some of the things that if I had to do it over again, I would totally do things differently. Even though they happened, they brought me to a better place. Having this business, doing these YouTube videos is a perfect example. I'm confident that had I not gone through some of the emotional trauma or some of the things that I went through, that I wouldn't be standing here, right here, doing this thing that I love so much. So no, I don't have any regrets. I definitely advise you to start looking at the crappy things that happen in your life with a different perspective or a different light. Here is the other thing that has helped me to have a life where I don't have any regrets. It's where I focus my attention. A lot of people who are constantly filled with regret or feel like they've made a ton of mistakes in their life, they're people who are constantly focusing on the past. They're constantly looking back at either the past as the good old days and now as the crappy days, or they're looking back at the past thinking, oh, if only I had done this differently, my life would be better. If only I had done that differently, my life would be better. Well, if you're always looking behind you, if you're always looking at the past, then you're always going to be going backwards in time. For me personally, what has worked is me just saying to myself, okay, this stuff happened, and what am I going to do now? Now that I have the awareness, now that I have the power, or if I don't feel like I have the power, at least what am I going to do so that I have the power in the future? It's all about making sure that you're not a victim of your past, but instead you're like, I'm gonna triumph over this past. Now, one of the other things that I talk a lot about in my videos is the importance of releasing shame and guilt. This sort of ties in with the last point that I made, which is all about not getting all wrapped up in the past. But for some of us, we can't just let go of the past. We can't just move forward. We actually need to heal. We need to process things. We need to understand maybe why they happened, or, you know, I don't know. There's just like things that we need to talk about, which is part of processing before we move forward. And so that's something that I have done personally for myself, is I've worked through my stuff. And I'm not saying that my stuff doesn't still come up sometimes, but additionally, when they do, I have these awesome tools and a great support system around me to make sure that I stay focused and that I remember my commitments and that I know who I am. So I don't get, you know, stuck in that downward spiral. If you're constantly looking backwards, if you feel like you're constantly stuck in the past, if you are feeling really guilty and ashamed of things that you've done, then you want to hire a coach. You want to work with a therapist or a counselor, and you want to get that stuff sorted out. Why? Because it helps you to look ahead. Another thing that I want to offer you, if you're struggling with regrets, is for you to have an understanding of this. You could call it a philosophy, but it's also just an understanding, a personal understanding. And it is this: we always do the best that we can with what we know, and we never know what we know before we know it, okay? Or certainly before we realize it. And why I'm saying that to you is it makes absolutely no sense in you or I beating ourselves up for things that we didn't understand or didn't know at the time. A lot of people try to do this thing where they're like, I should have known better. I should have, you know, done things differently. But the point is, if you had known, you would have done them differently. You didn't know, or you didn't know fully. Sometimes intuition speaks to us, or sometimes we have a thought, but if that was the dominant thought, we would have gone with that thing. Bottom line is, if you did something else, it's because that was the thing that you knew to do at the time. Don't beat yourself up for not knowing more than what you knew. You know, I guess I could summarize that point as compassion, just really being gracious with yourself. Think about it this way: if you had a daughter or you had a son, and you know, they went through what you went through, or they made some of the quote-unquote mistakes that you made, you would probably be incredibly accepting and very loving with that son or daughter. You would offer them that unconditional love. You might say, okay, going forward, we're gonna do things differently, or I recommend you do something different, but you wouldn't be beating your child up. And that's the same kind of love and compassion that you want to offer yourself. And that helps you to really let go of the regrets. You know what? I feel like I could probably do a couple videos on this topic, but I want to stop here because I want this video to be palatable and not too long. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave me a comment in the description. Feel free to leave me a comment in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If this has been helpful for you, share this with as many people as you think would benefit. And also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. If you're not already following me on Instagram, please come and join me there. I post there daily and we have a lot of fun. You can make friends, and it's just a really safe and great space to learn a lot more about self-love. And last but not least, if you're not already following me on this YouTube channel, then please go ahead and hit subscribe there. Self-Love Masterclass comes out every Tuesday, and I feel like things are getting better and better. And yeah, more and more people are joining us, which is awesome. If you're watching this on your smartphone though, I think there's a little button somewhere. I don't know, it's either here or here. And you just gotta click that, and then that'll have you be subscribed. All right, you guys, I'm actually off to a surprise birthday party for my grandma. So I'm really happy that I got to squeeze this video in before I leave. Yeah, you guys have yourselves an amazing week, and I will see you back for the next video. Mwah!